Hey, everybody, welcome to Love and Reload, the voice of the relocation industry. I am your host, Ben Cross, and I'm so blessed and honored to be here with Luba Davis, the supervisor of mobility at Transocean Offshore Drilling. Hey, Luba, how are you doing today?
Hi, Ben. Good to see you. I'm doing great, and thank you so much for having me.
Well, I'm excited to have you on here. I tell you what, we have a lot of mutual friends, it turns out, and everyone was telling me how excited they were that Luba was going to be on the show. So you have a lot of fans out there. Did you know you were so popular?
No, I did not know that, but I'm very, very fortunate to work with some amazing people in the global mobility industry who are very, very kind, and I think they created a little bit of unrealistic expectations for the show. So I hope not to disappoint anyone.
Oh, I'm sure you won't. I'm sure you won't. We're so fortunate to be in such a kind industry where people are so supportive and helpful. And I kind of suppose it's part of the job, right?
Yes, that's why we love our industry so much because you do get to work with some really cool, amazing people from different walks of life, different cultures, different environments, and we just all get together and do some amazing things. So that's why I love global mobility.
100%. Get in the comments, everybody. Say hi to Luba out here. Give her some love. Hit that like button. Check in with us. Let us know who you are, where you are, so I can give you a shout out. Tess Cheney checking in, saying hi, Luba. Jorge Flores, hello, everybody from Miami. Happy to see you here, Luba Davis.
Hello, everyone.
Adrian checking in from Glomo HQ in Dallas. What's up, Adrian? Jillian on the team. I've heard so many great things about you. Yeah, Jillian.
Thank you so much.
That's great. That's awesome. Let's see here. Louise Neal checking in here. Also, Dave Bunnell. Way to go, Luba. Break a leg, he says.
Thanks, Dave.
Yeah, Rob Zeitz says if you're working with Luba Davis, you're definitely working with the best.
Oh, thank you, Rob.
Seriously. High praise here. Farrell Elliott checking in from California. What's up, Farrell? Good to see you. Rada checking in. Hey, Luba.
It's Reda's birthday today, so take an opportunity to wish Reda a very, very happy birthday.
Happy birthday, Rada. Yeah, you coming to Dallas soon? Maybe for NTRP? Let us know. And Luba, did you say you lived in Dallas at one point?
Yes, I
Is
did.
that a Texas accent I hear?
No, it's not. It's a Russian accent, but I did
Okay.
live in a few cities in America, and one of them was Dallas. Yes.
Well, I want to hear a little bit about your story and how you got into this crazy industry, and how you came to be over here with us. So kind of how did well, let's first, how did you come to be over here in the US?
Well, it's an interesting story, actually. So, I always loved different cultures, foreign languages, since I was a little girl. Had huge interest, in traveling, visiting, meeting people from other cultures. And when it was time for me to decide what to study, I chose to study linguistics. I'm originally from Moscow, so I received my bachelor's in linguistics and my master's in linguistics and intercultural communication. So I was working as an interpreter for an oil company in Moscow, and loved it. But I also did a lot of trade shows, right, to kind of practice my languages. And it just happened this way that one one trade show, my husband, my future husband, who is American, came with his company to a trade show, and I was his interpreter. And that's
Oh,
how we met. We didn't do much work during the trade show, but we fell in love,
oh
and
wow.
I came to America, and we've been married for 20 years.
That is a fun story. So I love trade shows personally. I love conferences, right, and trade shows. I never fell in love at a trade show. Thank goodness, 'cause I've been married my whole career. But I'm fascinated by this dynamic. So if you go to Russia for for a trade show, and what trade was it in? What kind of industry?
It was well, he was in the kind of natural supplements. It was a pharmaceutical show.
Okay.
Uh, so, and of course, he didn't speak any Russian, so he needed to have an interpreter. So I was assigned to help him, chat with the clients, develop relationships, meet new people. And again, not much work was done during that trade show, but we spent a lot of time talking and getting to know each other.
That's
And it just
awesome.
happened this way, and I know it sounds
Did,
really crazy, but it just felt right. And we just
it sounds
went
like
from
something out of
there.
a movie, honestly.
Well, we are very proud of our story. And even more proud that we've been married for 20 years. So, yes, those things do work
Congratulations.
sometimes.
Congratulations. Were you
But
doing a lot of
so that's how.
interpreting for trade shows? Were you doing that a lot?
A few years, yes, and that was my favorite part because I got to meet people from different countries, from different industries, get to talk to them, help them, kind of, also took them on tours of Moscow in the evening times. I visit restaurants. That was just really my favorite part. I love working with people. I love helping people, and when not many people speak Russian, so they really depended on me, and it was good, to be able to make a difference and make it not just a great trade show, but it's a great experience visiting Russia in general for them.
Wow.
So, but of course, after I met my husband and we arranged for the immigration paperwork and I came to join him in America, unfortunately, I had to stop doing this. So,
Mm.
and I think you've heard it many, many times that um, nobody really knows about global mobility until they fall into it, right? Nobody
Yep.
just decides, I was like, well, I want to be a global mobility specialist, or
Right.
I want to work in relocation. We don't even know it exists until we somehow find it, right? And that's exactly what happened to me. Um, my husband is from Midwest originally, so when he brought me to America, we lived in Midwest. We actually lived in Kansas City,
Wow.
and it was not
What
such
was
an
that like?
international
Was there a
environment.
culture? Was that a culture shock for you moving to Kansas City, Missouri? Or,
Yes, it was. Yes. Going from a city of 11 million people, which is the center of everything, trade, commerce, arts, culture, best universities, to a much smaller, much more relaxed, much more, in a way, isolated city was a huge culture shock for me, yes. So, but you have to adjust, and I was young and eager to, to start my new life and make it work. So I had to reinvent myself. We didn't live in Kansas City for a long time. We moved to St. Louis, which was a little bit of a bigger city. Um, Soon, like a year and a half. And that's where I kind of found global mobility because there was a job advertisement. I still wanted to use my skills. I still wanted to be able to use my foreign languages, right? My knowledge of cross cultural issues and my interest in different cultures. So I hope to be able to find something to use those skills. And I saw an advertisement with the relocation company that was looking for a global assignment consultant, and they wanted someone, right, with international background, possibly foreign languages, and desire, to learn the industry. So I applied, and my wonderful manager, she saw something in me.
yeah.
she hired me, and I spent a couple of years working there, and she taught me so much. So I want to do a shout out to her, Shannon Dowd. Thank you.
Nice. Shout out to Shannon Dowd.
Yes, yes. I think she's watching the show, but if she's not, maybe she will watch it later. But I just want to say thank you for introducing the exciting world of relocation to me and teaching me, um, what it
Got
is.
it. You gotta move around a little bit, Luba.
Oh,
If
really?
the light fell asleep, I think did the
Oh,
light
I'm
fall
sorry.
asleep on you?
The life did fall asleep.
It's okay.
So let me see if I can make it happen. Just a second. Bear with me
No,
for one
you're
second. I'm
good.
gonna turn it
Oh,
back
oh,
on.
okay.
Okay,
There we go.
here we go.
There we
Sorry
go.
about that.
In the meantime, Crab King says Luba was
Yes,
an
the
epic
meantime, yes.
GHC.
So I worked there for a couple of years, and I really liked it. I enjoyed relocating people to different countries, learning the way.
Mm-hmm.
So what it involves to relocate someone, all the logistics, all the pieces. And I thought it really played well into my strength. And I worked there for a couple of years, and then we moved to Dallas, where I worked for uh, another relocation company, um, kind of doing more kind of kind of service recovery, I want to say, helping
Sure.
clients who needed an extra touch. Um, and so I worked there for a couple of years in Dallas, and then I was offered a position in Houston. So we moved to Houston, and we've been in Houston ever since for 11 years now. Um, I
Wow.
worked on site um, with one of the big oil and gas clients, and I loved being on site. I loved getting to know the global mobility team and understanding what actually goes into a relocation before a company receives authorization, right? There are so many
What was the
pieces.
biggest, I got to ask you, what was the biggest difference between, when you went on site from working at the Relo company?
Um, I think I only saw positives, to be honest, right? Because you actually get to meet the people you relocate, you get to establish a bond, a relationship. And I think once you actually get to meet someone in person, it's much easier to deliver bad news if you need to, right? Or they give you a little bit of benefit of a doubt because you already have that relationship going, right? If it's only by
Sure.
email or by phone, you don't know the person, it's much harder, right? So I really loved everything about being on site, being able to speak to local HRs and counsel them, right, on the policies, on the processes, being a part of the mobility team, meeting employees and talking to them and everything. So I worked for that company for about 7 years, and then I left to be on site with another company, so where I was more like go to between. I wasn't a counselor anymore, I was go to between um, the client and the relocation company, more like kind of a mobility specialist. And then the opportunity with Transocean opened up, and I was ready to move to the client side. I was always fascinated by the client side, and for
Right.
some time I really wanted to make that jump right to the corporate side.
Sure.
And opportunity opened up, and I was fortunate enough to get it. And so I've been in Transocean. It's gonna be 2 years for me this summer.
Wow. So now that you've talked about kind of working at the relocation company, working for the relocation company, but on site, and now working purely on the corporate side, which is your favorite type of role and why?
I think every position has its advantages and disadvantages. I think everything was like a great learning experience, and I wouldn't be where I am, right, without going through all this kind of knowledge and learning and doing things. I do like the corporate side because you do get to work like together with different departments, right? And you
Mm-hmm.
do understand. You do have to wear different hats. We have an in-house program that we built, so I do get to wear different hats, and it's never a boring day. I'm learning so much of different aspects of how companies operate, what goes into initiating a relocation, working with tax, with payroll, with legal, with immigration, right, with travel. Um, I love to learn. I love to learn new things. And I really, really enjoy being on the corporate side because there is always an opportunity to try something new, maybe try different, do something different, like a project, right? Do some research, and at the same time
Sure.
help employees. So I do a lot of things. I manage the suppliers, I do some expenses, and I actually also help employees relocate. So it's never a boring day. It's
What I
always
have a
something
question.
new, and I
I have
really
a
like
question
that.
about it. This is really interesting to me because I heard you say you have an in-house program, and these programs are exceedingly rare these days. Was it always an in-house program at Transocean Offshore Drilling?
No, it used to be outsourced to the relocation company.
Oh wow.
Um, yes, actually, Transocean was my account at the relocation company. So, and when the opportunity opened up, I was like, oh my God, I love Transocean. So
Right.
I would like to try. Um, in-house programs, we can do in-house program because we are a very small program, right? We don't relocate so many people, and we already had so many pieces in-house, right? Like we have an immigration in-house, we have tax in-house, global payroll is right there, expenses and travel, and it's all under umbrella of the same management. So the only piece that was outsourced was relocation. So I think it was relatively easy to take it back in-house. Um, and we just had to establish relationship with the suppliers and a direct relationship to support us. And because I come from the relocation side, I knew suppliers across the globe whom I liked, whom I felt
Yeah.
would be a great fit for our program. So I just reached out to them, and they were super excited to join us. Um, we had a software built for us so we can manage the employees, right? We want to be as efficient and as technology forward as we can. So we had a software built where we manage our program. um, Employee experience is extremely important for us, and we feel that having program in-house and me being the central point of contact for any employee for any issues really
Yeah.
helps us. And because the program is small, I got to know all our employees and their situations and where they are and what their needs are, and we can take care of them, whatever the situation might be, with, of course, with the help of our trusted partners.
Yeah,
um,
super interesting. I want to ask some more questions about this because I want to really take a deep dive into this because this is fascinating. Shout out to Rob Zeitz out there from Chile, Cambridge, Massachusetts. Get in the comments here. I want to hear from you. Hit that like button, show Luba some love. Chris Murphy says, hi, Luba. Amazing personal story and great show today.
Thank you, Chris. Good to hear from you.
Yeah, we got Richard Majewski. Hi from London.
Oh,
What's
wow.
up, Richard?
Somebody
Yeah.
staying up late.
Yeah, Richard always stays up late for the show, which is great. I got a question here for you, Luba, though, because I talk to so many corporate folks out there, and we have this conversation, all the time about, outsource versus in-house. And what I'm told, or maybe the common feeling, is that it's either too complicated or too expensive, or a company doesn't have the economies of scale that a relocation management company has. I mean, what are some of the myths maybe that people have in their mind about having an in-house program that you've maybe debunked over the years, or kind of overcome?
um, I think in-house program is not for everyone, right? I could see where having a really large mobility program would not work as well in-house as it would be outsourced to a relocation company who have resources, right, to handle high volumes. Uh, we don't have that because our program is really small, and it's, in a way, it's very, very manageable, right? um, of course there are challenges, because you have to have trusted suppliers whom you can outsource certain things to do for you. You have to be prepared, for any challenges, for example, like for supply chain, right? How you're going to sign them up, the payment. We had to go through all of this, right? To determine what would be the best payment terms. We, I guess, what would be the best preferred paid in the country, paid outside the country. So we just
Mm-hmm.
discussed all of those things with our suppliers, and they were very gracious and very willing to work with us. Um, I think, again, because we already had so many pieces in house, and I have an amazing, most supportive management, who got an approval from the executive team for this. It was easier for us to do. If you start completely from the scratch, I could see it being a challenge. And
Yep.
I guess another advantage, me coming from the real side, right? Because our relocated people, I know everything that goes into relocation, all the pieces, timelines, logistics questions,
Yeah.
potential issues. It was easier for me to manage that because I already knew what we're looking for, right?
Yeah.
Um,
I have a
So
question. I have a question on that though. You talked about having great management, and I love that you call that out because when I talk to folks, they always talk about, okay, how am I going to sell this internally? And I see this trend, and it's been a trend for a long time, of trying to have as few employees as possible. Right, few people on the payroll. Let's outsource everything we can outsource and have as few people on the payroll as cost cutting. And I imagine that at some point you had to have a conversation with your management and your management team all the way up and advocate for this idea and really make a business case. We hear that term business case made a lot. So how did you sell this internally, and what advice would you give to people trying to sell an idea like this?
Well, it was my management team who sold it, right? They sold. The way I understand they did it is just by showing all the advantages of having in-house program, right? First, much better employee experience, having a designated person managing all relocations. Also, having really good reporting at our fingertips. We don't have to wait for the relocation company, right? We can run our own reporting. And the way we built our software, we made it extremely customizable just for our program. We build the reports which we need, which show exactly what we need, the dashboard that show us where our people are. We can track things that we were not able to track before, and we can pull this information, and we can like data integrity, right? Being able to receive answers just like this without any wait time, and just kind of having employee experience. It's very, very important for us. We really love our employees and we want them to be happy.
Right.
They do very important hard work on rigs, right? Offshore rigs. And we want to make sure they're not worried about if their rent is paid on time, what's going to happen with their children's schooling, who's taking care of this. They know that there is one designated person they can go to. And I think they really like it.
Mm-hmm.
So all of those things, plus not having the relocation company's fees, right?
Well, I was going to ask you, is it more expensive to have a in-house program or an outsourced program?
For us, we actually see a lot of cost savings, um, especially, for example, having direct household goods suppliers really made a difference for us.
Oh,
For
really? Why
example,
is that?
yes, um, we bid our moves, right? So we are very honest with our household goods suppliers, and they know we bid our moves, so we can always get the best pricing, right? We compare the pricing apples to apples, and then we award our moves. And again, it's a part of what I do. Um, Based on the quotes and estimates we receive. So we do get much better pricing. We eliminated the wire fees by having a lot of payments done in the country, which our providers love because they receive payments much faster and there are no
Oh,
deductions
wow.
for the fees or anything like this. Um, so and I think for us it really works. Again, it's not for everyone. Big companies, I could see them having challenges with this, but for us, I think it was a great decision to do so.
What advice would you have for someone who is maybe sitting as a global mobility manager at a company and they were considering doing an in-house program? How would they even get started with that? What advice would you have for them?
um, just be very, very strategic and understand what you want to achieve, right? Understand what you need, like what pieces you will need to make it a success. Will you need to build a software program, right? Talk to different providers and see what gonna meet your needs, what you're looking for. Make a case study, right? See, I know the executives are always looking for the cost, right? They want to see the cost, they want to see return on investments. Just make a case where you can save, right? What types of moves you do, how you can, show them that actually having something in-house gonna benefit them. Um, do do they need better reporting, right? Do they need better visibility to where the people are? What exactly is your company looking for? Um, and then you can decide, right? Do you have knowledge to be able to sign up the suppliers? Do you know what to ask them? Do you know whom you're looking for? Do you know what questions to ask? um,
Yeah.
I think, again, it can be done. But again, it really depends. And what pieces do you already have established that you can kind of fall, right? For example,
Yeah.
because we have so many pieces in-house, it's very easy for us to coordinate, right? We manage the policies. We have flexibility with our policies. If we need to adjust them or change, we have that flexibility as well. So
Sure.
that really helps us being very efficient, very lean, and very fast.
And how many people are on your team, Luba? Your global mobility team?
We are a very small team, but because we're a small program, so I'm day-to-day contact for our employees, and I also
Yep.
manage the supply chain. I manage the invoicing for our suppliers.
Wow.
I manage the expenses for our expatriates. Um, and I have my manager, whom I go to with escalations or
Hmm.
anything that I just need help with. And then we have the senior manager who is overseeing immigration, relocation, travel, expenses. And then we are under the umbrella of a director who also oversees tax piece and a payroll piece. So we are kind of under the same umbrella, but we are a very, very small team. So,
Yeah.
but day to day, it's just me.
Well, that's awesome because that's one of the things I hear so much is, gosh, we would need so many people to do this, and it sounds like you've leveraged your supply chain in a way where it doesn't require so many people to do this. How many countries are you do you have transferees and assignees in?
I think we have 12 to 14 countries.
Okay.
And that also helps because we don't do business in every single country, right? So,
Right.
because if you need to sign up, let's say 40 destination services providers, that could be a challenge. We do try to leverage suppliers that have presence in multiple countries, which makes it easier for us, right?
Sure.
Um, so, but for us, because we have such a pretty small presence. I apologize. The light went off again.
Oh, it's fine. It's fine. It looks
So,
good. It looks great.
okay, okay.
I, I have another question that came in actually. This is
Okay.
so interesting, honestly. Get your questions in, hit that like button, get in there. Daisy Sinclair, Daisy's on our team here in Colombo. Daisy says, curious if you can share which relocation service takes most of your time with an in-house program.
We um, mostly have traditional long-term expatriate assignments. I know a lot of companies are moving away from those, but for our program, because we have a lot of career expats who move from assignment to assignment, they go where the business is, where we can drill, where we have a contract. That traditional long-term assignment still works very well for us. And I would say that for long-term assignments, it's managing the housing, right? Because I have to be on top of all the expiring leases. I need to get approvals for renewals, whether this person is staying or whether this person maybe is leaving. We have to process all the renewals. We have to make sure all the payments are done. So I do rely heavily on my suppliers. Um, and but I would say housing probably. Yeah, that's what takes the most time.
Is that because the company holds the lease? Is that why?
We don't hold the list, but we do make payments on behalf of our employees.
Okay.
And I need to be on top of all the lease renewals. And if there are any issues they might face, certain countries might be more challenging, right? Dealing with the landlords and having maybe some repair issues. We step in and try to help our employees as well. So probably managing housing, um, managing invoices does take a little bit of time, and also expenses, right?
Hmm.
They submit for a lot of assignment expenses, and we manage those as well.
You seem like you know a lot about a lot of things. To be able to manage housing in 12 to 14 countries and I mean, you have a lot of skills. I always say that about this industry. You have to know a lot of different verticals, but you know a lot of different verticals, and you know them down to the detail. It sounds like in order to be able to administer this. Tom Richardson checking in says, "Hi, Luba. Great to see you here today."
Hi, Tom.
We got people checking in with
Um,
questions as well.
yeah.
Go ahead, Luba. You were saying.
Yeah, thank you so much for saying that. But I think it's a learning curve. Every day I'm learning something new, and sometimes when we go into the new country, I have to learn a new country. It's very, very interesting, very exciting. I actually love that because each country is handled a little bit differently. Local practices, local laws, local expectations, and I think I know a lot, like I know a few things about a lot of things, but I do rely heavily on my providers to give me that in-depth knowledge and educate me on.
Sure.
That's why I always tell them, please tell me, are we doing this right? Is there a better way to do this? What's the local
It's a great question.
practice? And because I have such wonderful suppliers whom I really truly trusted partners, they are not shy to share that with me. And we certainly leverage that knowledge, that expertise. They share, a lot of them provide us some kind of updates, right? They might issue some little newsletter every other month or so and tell us what happening in the rental market, for example, or what
Sure.
political situations we're having in different regions, which we're always very grateful for. So I mean, I know a few things. I've been doing it for a number of years, but again, it's just
Sure.
not me. It's a lot of great people helping us do what we do.
That's a really great segue into Farrell's question. She says, "What countries pose the most difficulty for you around housing?"
um, Again, we are not in every country, so I can only speak about the countries where we do have business. Usually, Latin America is quite challenging due to a lot of local laws and local practices. Brazil, I'm learning a lot about Brazilian housing and what landlords are responsible for and what they're not responsible for. And it's really
Right.
surprising how little they're responsible for. So,
Wow.
how little repairs they have to do, which, for example, in the US, we just expect our landlords to fix our air conditioner, right?
Yeah.
Or to fix, like, for example, a running faucet. That's not the case in Brazil. So,
Wow.
having great local supply does help us, understand what we can expect, what we can expect. Um, for example, Greece has been a challenging location, again, due to local laws and local regulations, um, and different kind of mentality, right? And different approach to things. For example, if we can expect to hear from someone in Netherlands pretty much immediately with an answer, right? Landlords are super responsive. In Greece, it might just take a few times to follow up with them to get an answer.
Right.
So you just have to be aware of those things, of local practices, and really not to expect everyone to be doing the same thing. Really just kind of like, okay, understand the culture, understand the way, rely on your local provider, and just really learn, right? And that's been fascinating because I I I love that. I love to understand, like, oh, okay, that's why, because that's what they do, and it's been great learning experience.
Super interesting. Hit that like button and get in the comments here for Luba. Great question, Farrell. We got a couple other questions coming in here. Richard says, just reading about Transocean on LinkedIn and watching the news that the U.S. hopes to start selling energy to the U.K. Are you working in Europe? In fact, Ben just stole my question as I was writing it. Yes. So, are you working in Europe?
We work in Europe, but we are not in every country. We have just a few countries in Europe where we are. Um, so we have some presence in Norway. Um, so we have some presence in Netherlands. Um, we just started working in Romania last year. So those probably the European countries we have. Um,
Okay.
well, it has to be the country that have actually where the sea, right, where we can drill. So we
Hmm.
don't work in most landlocked countries, right? We
Yep.
do have a small office in UK, I know that.
Okay.
But currently we don't have any expats in UK.
Got it. We got a couple other questions here. Get in the questions. I love when the audience gets involved and asks questions because that just makes everything so much more dynamic. Redis says, Redis is spending his birthday with us today, and I just, I hope somebody brought cake. That's all. Sounds like Richard's working on some cake right now. Redis says, curious to hear what technology has lifted off your plate on a day-to-day basis. I know you'd mentioned employee happiness. I'd assume you need time to achieve this. Yeah, great question.
Um, Thank you, Dreda, for this question. Great technology is certainly has been wonderful help to me in managing day-to-day program. Um, Being able to pull reports. Um, we have a little bit of AI. It's still in a very, very beginning stage, but it's growing. And our
Talk to me a little bit about it, just because you mentioned it. What is
yes,
it doing for you today?
um, certainly AI gonna become an important part of global mobility in the future. Our current software provider does have some AI capabilities where we can quickly say, okay, how many people do I have in Australia? And it will give me a list of our employees with the link to their assignments. Or what was the total spend for me in Singapore? And they are constantly working on expanding what questions you can ask the system. So we really appreciate that. We like to play with this feature and we like to provide our feedback. So we just can't wait to hear what is going to come next for us. Um,
Well, those are the
being
questions that your management team probably asks you, right? Is how many people do we have here? How many people? What are we spending here? I mean, those are somewhat simple, direct questions that are very common that sometimes can take a long time to compile. So I think that's
for
honestly a
us
great
doesn't
use.
take long at all. We can either
Yeah.
ask AI or we can quickly run a report that we build the reports that give us exactly that information. Very often we are asked, how much did this assignment cost me, right? We can pull that information. Or when they try to make a decision, are they gonna retain someone, relocate someone? All this cost is very, very important to provide quickly, and we're able to do so. We also track um, all the assignment addresses. We know exactly where people live. We have the addresses in the system. We know if they have a pool. We know how many bedrooms they have. We know who their landlord is. In case of an emergency, we can find them, right? Because sometimes they do work in challenging locations. There might be some natural disaster, and we need to be able to move them out of the country. We have a way of finding them very fast. We have this information. If we are asked, okay, well, what's the typical, how typical we spend, let's say, on two-bedroom apartment in Norway, we can pull this information and say we have the following employees in two-bedroom apartments, and it costs us an average of that amount. So just being able to pull that data has been invaluable to us, and having the data that we need, so we don't have to like take some big report and try to filter and slice and dice it, but being able to pull a very clean report with the data we need has been wonderful. And being able to track our expenses as well in the system um, has been great as well. And as far as employee
Wow.
happiness, I guess the system does help with that. But I guess it really comes to our employees knowing that we're there for them. They have a designated point of contact. They can reach out to me. We will, we might ask some questions, but we will help them resolve whatever issues they're facing, whatever challenges or concerns. We will guide them through the process, whether it's just a simple, how do I submit for my expenses process, or like, I have a new baby, I need you to adjust my travel allowance, for example, things like that. So just being there for them, being responsive, being available, under promising, over delivering. I go by that. And just knowing they have also somebody local, right, who can work with them on their local time and can help them even if I'm not available at the moment. It's just a matter of trust. You do it every day, um, and eventually you get there. I
Yeah.
think.
Yeah, really, really fascinating stuff here. Jorge says, this is one of the things that impresses me about Luba. She really loves global mobility, managing it, being open to learning and sharing, and being aware of all the areas. I always remember one of our discussions about duty of care, which needs a lot of knowledge or also little details like food is love as a way to defeat multiculturalism barriers from the expat perspective. It's a lot there.
Well, thank you, Jorge. I really enjoy working with you and the team. Thank you.
Very cool. Isn't it funny how food is so important? We come on here, usually we have these conversations about relocation and it's kind of quiet. And then all of a sudden somebody starts talking about food, usually
Yes,
me.
food is my
And then the comments
patience.
start to, yes, pick up.
Oh,
Very cool.
yes, yes. Food is another love of mine besides global mobility. I can speak
Well,
about food all day long. We don't have so much
then I'm
time.
going to ask you, where has the best food? You've lived in so many places. What, what is the best food that you've had and where you've lived?
Oh my goodness. Well, I do love to travel, right? I do like to go and visit, and my hope to be able to visit all 50 states. I'm working on that currently. Um, so it 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 really depends, right? I think food just really connects you to people more than anything else, right? By talking to people, by sharing a meal with them, it really just opens up. And I do believe that food is love. You can
Hmm.
feel love that goes into preparing it. Um, I love different foods from different cultures, and we Houston is amazing this way. We have an amazing restaurant scenes, and we always try to go and just expand our horizons. And I might never go to this country, but like I'm gonna eat food from this country, right? And
Yeah.
feel like I kind of a part of that experience. I mean, I ate great food in many places. As again,
Let me ask you
uh,
this: when people come to Houston, because Houston is a good food city, when people
very
come
good.
to Houston, what is maybe one food that they really, maybe they need to try? Maybe they're not even thinking about it, but they need to try it.
Um, I don't think we have a lot. I want to say like Eastern European restaurants, and I think it would be a great addition to amazing restaurant food scene of Houston. I feel it's underrepresented, right?
Yeah,
So there are a lot of great food in that part of the world, and I think it would be great to share it with the rest of Houston. Um, but honestly, I can't just name one place. I mean, I don't want to hurt other places because they also have been great, right? It's just the
well, I
menu
think
gets you
about one
there.
of the things that jumps out to me is the Vietnamese food in Houston and how good that some of the Asian cuisine is, especially Vietnamese.
We do have very vibrant Asian community. We have a Chinatown and an Asian town. We have Little Vietnam. We have a Korean area, and they're all amazing. So please come and visit, Ben. I'll take you on a food
Yeah.
tour.
Hey, sounds good. I'm only 4 hours away. I can make that happen here. Yeah, no, I enjoy going to Houston for the food. I think it's fantastic. I've yet to try Vietnamese crawfish. I look forward to that. I hear it's
Yes,
exceptional.
I know just the place for that.
You do? Okay. All right. Awesome. This is good. We got a little top five here that you did for us here, Luba. Top five relocation tips for relocating employees, and I think this is great since you've touched so many different areas of this. And you know what we're gonna do? We're gonna work 5 to 1 here. Okay, they'll come up on the screen, so you don't have to remember them. All right. But let's do number. I'm gonna pull it up, and then you tell me what it is and
Okay.
explain it to us. Okay. So, top five tips for relocating employees by Luba Davis. Number five.
Well, it could be number five or it could be number one. So I think an international assignment is such a great opportunity, but it does come with a lot of stress. And it's easy just to be wrapped up in the logistics, right? Where do I live? Where am I going to go to school? Can my dog stay with me? What's going to happen with my house at home? That you sometimes get so wrapped up in all those details and logistics that you really forget to enjoy the experience, right? It is
Yep.
an amazing experience. Not everybody gets to experience that. So take full advantage. Get out there, make friends, try
Yep.
local food, travel around the country if you have that opportunity. Try to learn a little bit of a language. It opens up just so many doors, right? Even if you know just a few things, people really appreciate when you at least say a few things in their native language. Be open-minded, be curious. Culture shock probably gonna come at some point, right? Things gonna be done differently. Just try not to pay too much attention to the problems, but look at the bright side, because ultimately it's an adventure of a lifetime.
Yeah, that's great. Well, that is so true. This is so true. Let's see here. We got people checking in here with some great comments about food. Let's keep it moving here. Number 4.
Food really brings people together, right?
It really does. Hit that like button to get it. Number 4.
Never hesitate to ask questions. Sometimes assignees might think that, transferring employees might think that, oh, I'm not gonna ask that. It sounds really silly, right? There are no silly questions. Please ask questions, no matter how small it is, no matter how trivial you think it might be, because you don't know what you don't know, right? And the more questions you ask, the better it is for all parties, right? We are happy, to provide you as much information as we can from the start. You can ask questions at any time, before assignment, on assignment, whatever we can do to help. You're not taking our time. We are here for you to help you feel comfortable in your new situation. It is stressful, it's a lot of work, and please, please, please never hesitate to ask questions.
All right, number 3.
Number 3. Yes. I know, when you start the relocation, people get so many documents, so many forms, different providers and different things. Uh, you're given a policy to review, right? Um, you talk to your relocation counselor or to me, right? And I send you a benefit summary after the call that might be kind of a long document too.
Right.
Um, please take time to review those, right? You might find a lot of answers without asking to your questions, but even, or if you don't find an answer, then okay, that's your opportunity to ask the question, right? um, but it's good to understand what your company provide, what the expectations are, what the budgets are, so you don't make assumptions, right? A lot of people say, oh, I think it's going to be this way. It might be, or it might not be this way, right? So it's good to have an understanding what is provided for your assignments, what benefits, what supplies are helping you, what are the processes, how do you book travel, how do you submit your expenses. So I highly recommend to all relocating employees to read the boring things that we're sending
read
you
the
and
read the
maybe read
policy.
them and keep them
Yes.
handy and come back to them from time to time.
Oh my gosh. Yeah. All right, number 2.
Be open-minded. I think it's extremely important when you go to a culture that might be really different than yours, right? You might not speak the language, you might not know the customs, the traditions, all the holidays seem very different. Schooling is completely different. You might feel very isolated, and you might just want to just really lean back on your culture and say, well, we don't do it this way. That doesn't make sense. It's very important to give it a chance, right? It doesn't make sense now, but it will, right? And that's why I say, enjoy it, get out there, get to meet local folks,
Yep.
right? There are a lot of expats. You can meet people just like you who've been in the situation. Just give it a chance. You might, go to the supermarket and you don't find the food you love, right? And
Sure.
you might have to find maybe an international grocery store which sells some of that, or maybe you have to find some substitutes. It's totally an adjustment. So it's very, very important to be open-minded. Standards of living might be different, right? You might not have the same size of the housing you might have in the US. In Europe, the houses are much smaller. So it's important to be open-minded and just see it as a good thing and not a bad thing, right?
Yep. Makes sense. Speaking of meeting people, number 1.
Yes. I believe it's extremely important to have a relationship with your relocation counselor, a really good working relationship, um, because this person will be with you for a very long time. Not just for the duration of the relocation. They will stay for you for the duration of your assignment. They can help you maybe relocate to your next assignment or repatriate you So, and they are always there to answer your questions. So it might be 3-5 year relationship. It's really important to be comfortable with your counselor. It's really important for you to know who that is and to be able to reach out to them. And just, they're there for you. They're there
Yep.
to help you. So I think you need to help them to help you a little bit.
Well, and I think this is an area where having an in-house program definitely has an advantage. Because now they're part of the company, right? They have a company email, just like you, kind of thing. So yeah, that's a fantastic one, Luba. I love these tips here. I think a lot of folks are going to keep these tips handy. We've got a couple questions that came in the meantime here. Let's see what people are talking about. Retta says Luba wants me to relocate to Houston to have her North African food. You have a good North African restaurant up there in Houston?
We have a lot of great restaurants. African, Northern African, Southern African, Central Africa. I recently went to the amazing Senangol place, which was amazing. I loved every moment of it. And yes, Red, I want you to visit more often or to relocate to Houston.
Yeah, let's see. Richard says, I heard about Philly cheesesteaks on the show with Rob Z, I think it was. 2 days later, I see a van selling it in a market in London. Never heard of it till then. Richard, we're trendsetters here, Richard, okay? We're bringing great food all over the world here, Richard, okay? Yeah, you hear about it first on Love and Relo. Look at this. Tess is wanting to know about the crawfish place. You said you have a really good crawfish place. You remember the name by any chance?
Tess, I will have to send it to you. I have to find it and I'll send it to you.
Okay, all
Or I
right.
can send it to Ben and Ben can share it with everyone.
Yeah, send it to me. We'll post it. You know what? You go in here after the show. Go in here and just reply to Tessa's reply to her comment there, and that way we'll all have it. Richard says, "Be careful asking me for dumb questions because I'm great at daft questions and daft answers." I think Richard
There are
answers
no
his
such a
own
thing
questions
as a
sometimes.
depth question. Questions are great and we welcome them.
Yeah, that's a
If
great
it's
point.
important for you, it's important for us.
All right, Luba. Now the moment everyone's been waiting for. Okay, you like to play games, Luba? You want to play a game with me?
Oh my, depends on the
Uh-huh.
game.
Well, here's
Okay,
the
we can
game. It's
play
called
this one.
overrated, underrated. Okay. Do you know how to play?
Not really.
Okay. Well, here it is. It's two rules. One, I'm going to give you a topic, and you are going to tell me if it is either overrated or underrated. Okay.
Okay.
All right. And the second is I will tell you if you're correct. And here we go. All right. Let's have some fun here. Get in the comments here. The first one up is social media, overrated or underrated?
Social media is overrated. Everybody just sees a pretty perfect picture, but we
Like
all are
us.
humans and we all have real lives and it not necessarily as pretty as the picture is. So don't let it get into your head. I had to learn it the hard way. Get
Yeah. I
out
think you
there
bring
and
up
talk to people.
I think you bring up a good point, right? And I think social media gets kind of a bad rap because of the body images, and you think everyone's, and they have all the filters and all the the things, right? All the makeup and all the whatever, But I mean, social media is also what we're doing right now, right? Just two people talking, and I don't, I think we're regular people, we're just having a conversation. And I think what's cool about it is we can have a chat like this, and Tess can jump in, and Richard can jump in, and Retta can jump in, and people can jump in from all over the world and have the conversation with us at the same time. And I think that aspect of social media is a little underrated. You know what I mean?
You are very right, Ben. I think social media could be both underrated and overrated, right?
Hmm.
Like unrealistic expectations, unrealistic images, right?
Yeah,
Everybody's having a fancy vacation other than me. But that ability to connect with people across the globe that we didn't have before, I don't want
yeah,
to kind of age myself here, but
yeah,
this is amazing to be able
yeah,
just to do what we're doing, right? It
yeah,
certainly helps us in our industry as well. So I think we're both right on this one.
yeah. I think you might be right. All right, next one up. Overrated, underrated, mental health days.
They are underrated. I think mental health days are great. We all need one sometimes, right? and just refocus, to regroup, do something for yourself, and come back fresh and focused. Because I truly believe you can't help others if you're not at the best shape yourself, right?
Yeah.
Um,
What
so I
what do
love
we need to
mental
do
health.
on a mental health day to maximize the impact of it?
I think it's different for each person, right? What do you love to do, right? Some people would say, I just want to go and have like a spa day, right? Or I want to go
Hmm.
shopping, or I want to go to the park with my dog, or I want to go to lunch with my children, or it can be a little bit of everything, right? So whatever, or like I love to bake, right? So I could just
Hmm.
like lock myself in the kitchen and bake for 3 hours and come completely chill and re-energized.
Yeah.
So it's whatever works for you, what you love, what makes you happy. It could be reading a book, right? Or walking in the forest or gardening. Just
Yeah.
find what you love and do it.
I think if I were to take a mental health day, I would go. I would go do.
Let
I
us
would
know
go
how it
do.
goes.
I would go do art. I'd probably go like paint something, sculpt something, or do
That's
like.
great way to take your brain off all your daily
Hmm.
challenges and just really refocus. Art is
Yeah.
amazing.
Yeah. All right. Next one up. Overrated, underrated, expensive jewelry.
Just for me, I think it's overrated. I think it's good to have fun. For example, I personally love fashion jewelry, which you can just match to your outfit and change it as often as you wish.
Right.
Again, my personal opinion, but I think life is too short just, to have just a few pieces. Just go and buy something fun and just enjoy it. And
Love
don't
it.
break
Love
a
it.
bank either.
Don't break the bank. Love it. Good advice. Overrated, underrated, diets.
Okay, we love food so much. I think diets are overrated. I think you need to have a healthy lifestyle if you choose to do so, right? Diets come and go. Decide what you want, what's most important for you, and just do it, right?
Mm.
But I think life is just too short not to have great food.
Too short not to have great food. Although great food may shorten it a little bit.
Well, great healthy food.
Yeah. Yeah. Let's see here. Daisy saying we need to have team building day, painting by numbers. LOL, kidding. Watch out, Daisy. Me and Joe might overrule you there. We might vote against you and actually do it. We're gonna go for a painting class. It's been too long since we've done painting. I do love that very much. All right, last one up. Overrated, underrated. Starbucks.
Again, I hope I'm not gonna make any enemies here, but I think
Uh oh.
Starbucks is way overrated.
Oh my goodness. Oh my goodness.
I'm a big fan of local coffee shops. I believe in supporting small local business,
Yeah.
and there are so many wonderful ethnic local shops in Houston where you can try coffee from different countries,
Hmm.
um, and something just like some amazing coffee that you didn't even think existed, right?
Yeah.
It doesn't hurt that they also serve delicious pastries there. So I think Starbucks is too expensive and too boring. I'm all for supporting small local businesses and trying coffees because a lot of countries in the world do make amazing coffee.
Oh yeah. I hear that. I mean, you're 100% correct about that. Um, let me ask you this: Starbucks or Dunkin'?
None, neither.
None. If you had to
In the
have a cup
mor-
of coffee, you
in
had to
the
have a cup of coffee.
morning,
There's only two places.
yes, I will tell you that the coffee I drink in the morning, my husband makes the best coffee ever.
Really?
So that's what I drink in the morning, my husband's coffee.
Where's it from? What kind of coffee is it?
Well, he really tries to make it a little bit fancy, so he grinds his own coffee beans.
Uh huh.
Yes, he has a fancy machine that grinds different styles and measures it for you. Um,
Okay.
we we like there is a really nice company in Austria called Dalmar. They make really great coffee beans. We really love Italian coffee. There are plenty of great Italian
Oh,
companies that sell coffee beans like wholesale,
whole
and
beans. Yeah.
they don't have to be expensive. You can find them in my all-time favorite place, like Marshalls or Home Goods.
Yep.
So for a fraction of the price, and that's what we do.
Nice. Lovely. Fantastic. Yeah, I don't know. I think Starbucks is underrated personally. Everybody hates on
Sorry,
Starbucks.
Ben.
I think it's good. I think it's fast. They do a nice job. And I mean, listen, I got nothing against local coffee shops, but I do think Starbucks is pretty decent.
I think when you're like at the airport or you need a quick coffee, I think they're great. Yes, but if you have choices,
Yeah,
go and explore. If you're
sure.
traveling in your new city, go and explore what the local scene has. That's one of my favorite things to do, actually, explore local restaurant scene in a new location.
Yeah, nice. Let's see here. People are chiming in here. Ben Cross hosting a Bob Ross style mobility paint show. Maybe. I think that means that they want me to talk less. It's fine. Yeah, Bob Ross is all over. Yeah, rest in peace, Bob Ross. I mean, for real, I like art. I really do. I like painting and stuff. I could definitely have like a Glomo paint party. That would be fun. Do some cool stuff, and not one of those like corny pictures that they have you do. Like it's always like so cliche, but like maybe something that's a little bit more. It'd be fun, like if we had a painting class with like 10 people. Maybe we have like 10 tiles and we all put it together or something at the end, and it makes like a big thing. Or because there's always different people with different skill levels. So maybe the painting like rotates every 5 minutes. So everybody's kind of comes out in a similar kind of more cohesive and stuff. And some people inadvertently love what they did, or somebody hates what they did, or whatever. And
There
anyway,
you go. I think it's an outstanding idea. It's
yeah.
beautiful.
Rob says an abstract painting of the relocation process. Just a total show.
That would sell for a lot of
Nice.
money.
Nice. There you go. Very cool. Luba, this has been a lot of fun. Do you want to maybe just leave us with one final thought before we sign off today?
Um, really appreciate your time, Ben. Thank you. I really enjoyed speaking to you. Wonderful questions. Um, and thank you to everyone who has been with me from my global mobility journey, who supported me, taught me things, who helps me manage my program now. I couldn't do it without you. I appreciate each one of you. Um, don't be afraid of getting to global mobility industry. It's a fast paced, it can be crazy, it can be stressful, but it is such a fun place to be, and you're gonna meet some amazing people you will not meet anywhere else. So I'm very, very blessed to be a part of it, and can't wait what the future holds.
Yeah, I love it. Thank you so much for being here, Luba. Thank you for accepting the opportunity and sharing your story. It really is thought provoking and insightful and inspirational. So thank you, Luba. It's a pleasure to really get to know you.
Thank you. Same here, Ben. Have a great day.
You too. All right. See you, everyone. Tomorrow we have Hunter Monroe on. Can't wait. So see you tomorrow, same time. Take care, everybody.